Ladies and gentlemen, hey now, 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 and hey now. Welcome to a brand new edition of the line on this Monday. Hope y'all had a good weekend. And for those of y'all in this part of the state that got the day off or got to be out of school, my question is for what? For what? Nothing happened. Sun's shining. It's freezing cold, but the roads seem largely fine. So what happened? No, let me be honest. I mean, in reality, okay, I get it. There was a risk. It was raining all day yesterday. And so, I mean, for instance, I woke up. I mean, okay, it's 24 degrees here and it's 21 degrees in New York City. I just want to, I see that on the TV. So the fact that we're the same, just about the same temperature as New York is a little crazy. But um, I get the abundance of caution, but maybe, you know, I mean, at some point last night, we probably had to say to ourselves, it's probably going to be all right. But listen, I'm grateful we didn't have a big hubbub this morning and I had to make arrangements because I'll be honest, I didn't really plan ahead. I kind of went to bed and I was like, man, I'll just see what happens in the morning, which could have been a little chaotic, but everything's okay. It's just cold outside. It's very cold. And I'm not built for it. I'm gonna be honest. I was talking to one of my Canadian friends yesterday or 2 days ago, I guess, and it was a negative 11 where he was at. Negative 11. I don't even know how that's survivable. Negative 11? What is that? So
Stupidly cold.
yeah, dude. Well, actually, he said he goes, it's negative 24 degrees Celsius. I'm like, I don't know what that means. I speak
You have a good
English.
time there.
Yeah. Yeah. It's 3 degrees where my mom lives over in Missouri. 3 degrees. I think it's been 3 degrees for the past 3 or 4 days. But listen, we're grateful that we didn't, get anything crazy. I understand some people wanted snow. I get that. And if we were able to get snow without ice, I might be on board with you. But that doesn't seem to be a possibility here in Alabama. Those a little north of us, I'm assuming like Huntsville, Madison, like those guys, maybe even over
Go up in
into,
the northwest, like Florence, Muscle Shoals area.
yeah, those guys got some pretty nasty stuff, but that's just part of the game, man. When you live up in the Great White North, like the people of Florence, Alabama, that happens. You got to be prepared. Y'all got to have salt trucks and stuff like that in Florence. Y'all got to have snow plows. We don't have to have those down here. I did see a few flurries as I came out. Came out to my car. I was like, oh, it's like
As long as it just stays flurries and doesn't really accumulate, I'm okay with it.
I had probably a couple millimeters of snow on my windshield wipers.
Yeah, early this morning.
Yeah. No, I mean, it was still there when I went out to go to work. Almost called in. Said Valerie Vining, listen, couple millies on my windshield. I don't know if I can make it,
Got to stay home. Sorry.
but I did it anyway. I didn't know the cold, the bitterness of the cold wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. I guess because we haven't dipped down this low this year, or I guess this season yet that I remember. Like I felt like it was going to be really bad, and if you're dressed appropriately, it really wasn't that bad.
True, that helps.
Of course, you're from the north. You wouldn't know a difference either way. It's all the same.
Oh,
to
I do
you.
now. Now that I'm older, yeah.
Yeah.
When I was younger, yeah. Like when I was in high school, I was always the last one to go from short sleeves to long sleeves, last one into a light jacket, last one into a heavy jacket, and the first one out of all that stuff.
Yeah. Well,
Nowadays, geez, if I'm not wearing a long sleeve shirt, it must be 90 out.
that was me too. And the older I get, the more I'm kind of like, I'm more apt to. Don't get me wrong. I'm still probably within this building. I'm probably the last one to still have shorts on. Like if I thought I could pull it off, I'd have probably wore shorts today and just a hoodie. I feel like if I'm halfway dressed for the weather, then it's appropriate. But I was like, you know what? 24. I probably just better wear some breeches. That's probably the best idea. So that's what I did. And wow, what a weekend. Good Lord. I didn't really do a whole lot this weekend. Outside of, we did a podcast Friday night, and then I kind of hung around the house until my wife notified me that she has yet again bought some sort of vanity on Facebook, where I had to then go to Hoover and pick up a vanity. What else did I do? Oh, I got sent to. So we do the same. We've got a lot of stuff that we kind of need to get rid of. That is donation worthy stuff. Like these thrift stores. You just go out and dump your donations on at the front of their business, and they go through them, and they put them in the store and sell them or whatever. Well, we've got a waterbed that I needed to get rid of, so I loaded all that up and took it out there, and then they informed me, they're like, we don't take any kind of mattresses. And I'm like, well, this is not like a mattress. This is a waterbed, sir. He's like, yeah, I don't think they're going to take it. I'm like, can I give it to you anyway? And you're like, if they don't want it, you can like throw it away. Because I don't really have anywhere to throw it away. Like, I don't have, unless my city's got some sort of big communal dumpster, which I know they did at one time when they screwed up the trash service. They were switching services, and nobody had trash service in my city, and they just put a big dumpster out in the middle of a vacant parking lot, which didn't turn out too well because it was overflowing pretty quickly. So now I've got this, and actually, I don't even think I know where the actual, waterbed's got the big plastic thing that you put the water in, the mattress itself. I can't seem to find that, but I've got the rest of the pieces. I just need to throw them away, and I got to find somewhere to do that. So I just, a lot of it's mostly foam. I could probably just set it on fire in the backyard. It'd stink up the neighborhood, but I got to get rid of it. And I can't stuff it in my trash can because it's not going to fit. Trash day is tomorrow, too. Anyway, that's personal problems you guys probably don't care about. So let's get to the Hey Now roll call before I really start rambling. Let's see. What do we got? It's already getting a little toasty in here, by the way. Is it warm in there in your room?
No.
It's not? Even with the board, the heat of the board?
Yeah, even with the heat of the board and 18 million computer monitors, no, it's not cold. It's not warm in here at all.
I'm not allowed to touch the thermostat, so I may actually go recruit somebody else to do it. If I drag Damien in here and be like, hey, can you turn the thermostat down? Then I can say it wasn't me. Oh, anyway, Hey Now roll call. Sorry. Getting distracted. Let's see who we got. Going back. Early birds. We've got a Bo coming in early. We got Jay who says he's working outside in the cold. Can I just say, for those of y'all that are working outside, I am so sorry. I think it is incredibly inhumane. And your boss should have let you off work today. Mark a little early, and Gene just a little bit too early, which puts it number one on this Monday for the Hey Now roll call. It is.
Helps if I hit the right button.
We can play whatever. It doesn't matter. It is none other than Rusty. Hello, Rusty. Hello. Congratulations, Rusty. Get that song in. Number 2, Bubba Rumble. And number 3, Jimmy the Greek. Man, those guys have really, really gotten close as of late. Maggie, Leslie, Cherry, Trent, Hippie with the J's, Boomer with a bunch of hey nows, Rudy, Josh, and Mike, and Bama, and another Mike, and a Jeff, and everybody. Hey now. All right. Obviously, what we need to address here on this episode is what happened in Minneapolis over the weekend. And I've spent a lot of time watching this. I have watched video after video, angle after angle. I've even watched a lot of people's opinions on it. And a lot of people have a different opinion. And it's really, dare I say, it's not split Republican and Democrat. Well, I guess to an extent it is, because all Democrats are on one side of this issue. But some Republicans are looking at this in different ways. And so I want to give you my point of view on what happened with this Alex Pretty guy and how all that went down, and trying to do it without political blinders on, which is what everybody else has been doing. So we got that and much more. And if you want to get in, love to hear from you all on this front. 205 545 9950. 205 545 9950. Kicking it off after this. What is this? I like it.
Atreyu. It's called X's and O's.
Oh, that's right. I knew that. That's why I liked it. I'm a big fan of Atreyu. I am. We got a Steve. We got a weird look on YouTube right now. I've got a ghost. I've got a.
Let me switch that for you.
There's too many buttons back there, man. There's too many different options, and we still don't have a split screen for the line, which I understand. We gotta, work through the weeds and everything else, and in this business, or at least in the position we're in, there's like certain people that have to do certain things, and until that person is available, you can't get certain things fixed. At least from my understanding. But I actually just try to keep my distance from that. I keep myself on this side and just do what I need to do. By the way, if you want to join us on YouTube, y'all know the drill. Real Talk 99.5 TV. Make sure you subscribe there and join us, man. I think the coolest part of that, as I've said, is the fact that you can get in there. You got the chat room. You can talk with everybody and chit chat, especially if you're off work today. It ain't like you got nothing else to do. What are you gonna do? You just gonna sit and stare at the wall? You gonna watch soap operas? No, man. You're gonna watch us. That's what you're gonna do. All right, so let me start here because I got a lot of things to get to. Obviously, I want to get to the Minneapolis stuff, and I want y'all's opinion on that. So I need you guys' help on that front, if you will. But let me start here. So this was a shocking thing that I saw coming out of Virginia. As you know, what is it? Virginia and New Jersey just elected new governors, both female Democrat, obnoxious liberal white women. And one of which, I think it was the, what's the one from New Jersey? Her name was Mikey Sherrill.
Mikey, something like that.
Mikey Sherrill, yeah. She apparently refused to be sworn in on the Bible, and instead was sworn in on the state and the New Jersey state constitution. I think maybe the state constitution and the U.S. Constitution.
She read it?
Probably not. She probably has no idea what's in that. But she just she didn't, which is kind of, I mean, it's a weird thing because we're moving into this realm where we're normalizing public officials not being sworn in on the Bible. Now, you could look at it as kind of, well, when you swear on the Bible, like that, for a lot of us, that means something. Like, that means you need to keep your word. That's like a pinky promise times a million, right? But we've seen politicians lie and cheat and steal and disobey the Constitution and, whatever else after swearing in on the Bible. So obviously it doesn't mean a whole lot to them. But as a country that was founded on those beliefs, it is troubling. And some people will tell me I'm overreacting and it's not that big of a deal, but it is a big deal to me that we're moving away from public officials doing that, to swearing in on the Bible. And now it's just kind of like whatever, crazy book you want to get sworn in on, swearing in on To Kill a Mockingbird or, whatever. It's a little worrisome. Not just that, but there's so many other things that are going on in this country where we're moving away from, what our founding was built on. And it is going to, ultimately end in the destruction of what so many of our ancestors had built for hundreds of years. You've got Mikey Sherrill, as I stated, swearing in on the New Jersey state constitution. You had Mondani just weeks ago getting sworn in on the Quran. You've seen example after example of this over the past months and years, and it's just a little weird. It's just a little weird for me, but whatever. You can disagree with that. I don't care. That's not what I'm talking about, though. So in Virginia, the Virginia State Democrats have introduced House Bill 863. And House Bill 863 seeks to remove mandatory minimum prison sentences for a slew of offenses. Now, in some cases, you could probably get me on board with, different offenses, that nonviolent offenses, things of this nature, maybe drug offenses, to where we could create a more fair system. Uh, we have talked at length and maybe doing that a little more later this week about the corruption going on in the prison systems across the country, but in particular in the state of Alabama. Uh, but there is a line when it comes to trying to fix a problem such as this. When you cross that line, you just get into a weird place. And that's where Virginia is going. So the slew of offenses that they want to eliminate the mandatory minimums for are offenses including rape, manslaughter, child pornography possession, and distribution, assault on law enforcement officers, and repeat violent felonies. That's what HB 863 in the state of Virginia is attempting to do. To say, yeah, I mean, maybe there's a guy out there that possesses child porn, but, circumstances may help us decide that, hey, maybe he doesn't deserve prison time. Or maybe this rapist doesn't deserve the mandatory minimum. The bill was sponsored by Delegate Ray Cousins, filed shortly after the new Democrat-controlled General Assembly convened under the new governor, Abigail Spanberger. Legislation amends over 30 sections of the Virginia Code, striking language that imposes mandatory minimum sentences for these crimes. For example, under current law, rape carries a mandatory minimum in cases involving minors or certain aggravating factors, such as life imprisonment for raping a child under 13 if the offender is over 18. HB 863 would eliminate these floors, allowing judges full discretion to impose sentences as low as probation or suspended time while keeping maximum penalties intact. Similar changes were made to the laws regarding forcible sodomy, object sexual penetration, aggravated involuntary manslaughter, and child pornography offenses. All in the state of Virginia. They want to protect the criminals. Oh my God, this stupid window. So I was asked about this during the break. I got a text, and uh, I was asked kind of why this window that we have over here on the side why is it not stopping? Why it's halfway open? And the reason for this is if I don't have some light coming in here, like I look blue. Because don't get like I want the window closed. I really want the lights out. But if I don't have the window somewhat open, actually sometimes it's too much. Then I start looking pale and I look like I'm gonna pass out. Let's try. See, I start to look blue and pale. I can't do that. I work too hard on this tan to look pale. Here we go. And that's probably good right there. We got to worry about those things here at 99.5 now that we got cameras on us.
Now we do.
Used to be we could just come in here looking like homeless people and work in our pajamas. But now we actually have to look presentable when we come in here. I was notorious for that, by the way. I didn't care. I didn't care what I looked like. I guess all across the country, because I'm looking at Fox News and they're continuing to have their reporters in different cities, and it's like everybody's kind of the same temperature. New York's at 21, Dallas is at 23, we're at 24, and we're warming up. We're at 26,
Woohoo, heat wave.
but that's everybody's dealing with the same kind of cold. But those roads sure look icy in Dallas.
Yeah, and they don't generally have much stuff to treat things with over in Dallas.
No, I saw a video from my man Alex Stein, who's over in Dallas, and he was walking the streets trying to find some businesses that were open, somewhere to get some food, and all he could find is a Chinese restaurant called Wang's that was open.
Well, at least he found something.
Wang's, not like wings, but Wang's. Like probably the owner's name is Wang or something, which would be a cool name to have, if you ask me. Wang. But there's Chinese
That would
restaurants.
depend on what your first name was.
If your first name was, I would want my first name to be Large. Large Wang is what I would want.
You're welcome. Set you up for that one.
So when it comes to Chinese restaurants, though, I mean, the Chinese, like, they're not going to miss a day of work if they don't have to. They'll get out there. They'll get out there with 8 huskies in a sled to get to work.
The funny thing is, isn't Chinese restaurants usually take Monday off, don't they?
You know, it's a good point. A lot of them do.
Huh. Okay.
Well, the one that we go to, is it Monday or is it Tuesday? They take like Monday or Tuesday off, which is weird that they have that one odd day a week that they take off. I would think you'd want to stay open on Monday because a lot of people are going back to work. By the end of the day, they're exhausted. They don't want to cook. And they just go by and get some food.
Yeah. I don't know.
But I don't know. Maybe they know something I don't. They're obviously, staying in business. So, but back to the HB, what did I call it? HB 863. Is that what it was? Over in Virginia, supporters of the changes argue that the bill promotes fairer outcomes by ending one-size-fits-all sentencing and giving judges greater flexibility in individual cases. Here's the problem. I mean, I agree with one-size-fits-all doesn't work in certain court cases. But in cases of forcible sodomy, aggravated involuntary manslaughter, child pornography, I think we could probably stick with those mandatory minimums. Because you're talking about some of the sickest individuals that are in society that have no business being out on the streets. I got no sympathy for those people. Not to mention, it's not just their sentencing, but, you know, the beatdowns that they're going to get once they get to prison, which is also part of their punishment. So anyway, those are the sick individuals. And this is who we're dealing with. These are the Democrats we're dealing with. As you see the protest in Minneapolis, always remember, keep in the back of your head that these are the same individuals that protect criminals day in and day out, whether it's the criminals that are in the country illegally or it's the type of criminals that I just described there. They want to offer those individuals fairer outcomes. People that exploit children deserving fairer outcomes. You know who deserves a fair outcome is the victims, the children. The victims of these crimes deserve an outcome where they know they don't have to worry about coming across that individual because some radical judge has let them out. And you may say, well, it's just a mandatory minimum. It's at the judge's discretion. Do you really trust a lot of the judges that we have out here these days, especially in major cities, especially in states like Virginia or California or Oregon, or the judges in Chicago or the circuit courts or the federal judge? Do you really trust these individuals? They haven't really shown us anything to give us reason to trust them. And so I don't have a lot of faith that that's going to be doing anybody any favors. But on to Minneapolis. The video is being played over and over and over again on all the news sites. You've seen it. We've all analyzed it. We've all tried to come to our own conclusions. And a lot of people have a lot of different opinions on it because what you had here is an individual who, outside of what he did in his interaction with federal law enforcement, he was carrying a firearm legally, and he is allowed to do that, surprisingly, in Minneapolis. And most of us support that 100%. We support your right to carry a firearm, and we make the point that, hey, the more people, obviously trained individuals, people that know how to use a firearm, the more of those individuals that have firearms on them, the safer the streets are. Criminals don't like the idea of everybody having a gun on them. It actually is a deterrent. But what's different here is you have an individual that is hostile with police. And I'll just break it down. With how this played out, no matter what video or what angle I watch, I cannot get past the fact that this individual was struggling with police and was resisting arrest. That's what we see every time, okay? That's always the common denominator is the resisting of arrest. In the lead up, he's talking to him. He's got his phone out. He's being antagonistic, as most of these people are, which is not to the point of illegality just yet, but he's being antagonistic. Then you have another one, some obnoxious liberal white lady with a whistle. She comes over and she does something. They order them to step back. They don't do it. They spray or take down the lady with the whistle. The guy, Alex, then goes over to help get the lady up or whatever he's doing, which is at that point impeding the law enforcement action. They tell him again, get back. You're getting arrested. He does not do so. So they have to take him to the ground. Once they take him to the ground, what happens? Alex Preddy starts to resist arrest. And most of us, before this weekend, would say resisting arrest with a firearm on your person is a very dangerous situation to be in. Most of us would have said that prior to this weekend. It's still the case. If you're going to tussle with police, whether you're throwing punches at them or you're just simply resisting arrest, if you got a firearm on you, you are taking your life into your own hands. And that's what this individual did. And maybe he knows that, maybe he doesn't. We'll never know because we're never going to get to hear from him. But putting yourself in certain situations, I don't care if it's in this kind of situation, tussling with police, or you put yourself in the bad part of town, there's plenty. Life is full of opportunities to put yourself in dangerous situations. And every time you do that, you have to understand what the consequences are. Things can happen. Things can go wrong. Things can result in you losing your life. And I don't know why that's lost on so many people. We see this. It's so similar to all the other stories. Police shoot a so-and-so. Police shoot this guy. Police shoot a girl. Police shoot, this person. George Floyd dies. All of us have the same exact story. They all involve resisting arrest. Nicole Renee Good. What was she doing? She was resisting arrest. They told her to get out of the car. She was being detained. What did she do? She decided instead to hit the gas towards an ICE officer. Put herself in a dangerous situation, and it ended up costing her life. Happens every day, by the way. Not with police interactions, but happens every day in many different scenarios. People put themselves in a bad situation, make a wrong decision, it costs them their life. This is nothing new. And so the outrage that I see, especially from politicians, Tim Walz, Jacob Frey, whoever, is so disingenuous to me. Because one of the first thoughts I had was, what about the people that for years and years have lived in these war zones, in the streets of Democrat-run cities, who every day have to fear for their life because Democrat leaders refuse to do anything about the crime in their cities? What about the people in Birmingham that live in parts of town where they hear gunshots every night? And we hear about the deaths all the time in this city, across the country. No outrage from these individuals. No national outrage whatsoever. So when I see them acting in the fashion that they do, which is a very unhinged fashion, I simply can't take you seriously. And that's where we get to those reactions. And from every single one I've read from an elected or former elected official, every single one of them has the same message, which is do that more. Take what Alex Pretty did and do more of that. Put yourself into those dangerous situations that could cost you your life. Because guess what? If the next Alex Pretty happens and is shot and killed, Tim Walz ain't going to lose any sleep over it. Jacob Frey's not going to lose any sleep. You don't matter to them. They don't know you. You're disposable. They're actually going to be glad it happened. Why? Because they view you as political ammunition. They view your dead body as political capital. So they have no problem stoking the flames. They have no problem pushing you into the streets. They want more of these protesters to show up with firearms and get in the faces of police. They want more of what we saw this weekend. Make no mistake. Tom's in Pell City. Tom, what's up?
Man, When is Minneapolis just going to burn, and when is Trump going to do something before the next body gets killed? I mean, if I was him, I'd pull all the police, all the National Guard, all the ICE, and let the idiots run the asylum. Just let it happen, man. If they don't want your help, these cities, these Democratic-run cities, are trying to become a third world country. Let it burn.
For a lot
You
of
know?
us, I mean, on paper, that really does sound like a good idea, and I do feel the same way you do on that front. But when you're
I'm tired
coming
of seeing the
from
headlines.
when you're coming from Trump's angle, and I'm assessing what I see as his point of view on this. He is very adamant about saving lives and stopping the loss of life. You can see that in how he approaches the wars all across the world that he stopped, how he's approaching Russia, Ukraine. He's constantly talking about the loss of life there, and more so loss of life in this country. Not everybody in Minneapolis is a
Right.
protester, and so
I get that.
and through his eyes, I think what he sees there is we can't just
Pull them out.
pull them out and
Yeah.
just let it turn into Mad Max. He wants to save lives, so he's got to continue to do what they need to do to keep people safe. He's not going to change on that position. So we're kind of at a
Right.
crossroads where that your opinion, the way you want to handle it, is not going to happen. Although, again, I agree with you to an extent. It becomes so frustrating. I as president, if I were president, I'd probably make an emotional decision and do just that and say, everybody out, let them
Why
work
don't
it
he
out on
do
their own.
this? Send out flyers, give all normal people 72 hours to vacate the premise, and just bomb it. That's what I would do.
Just do like we
I
used to
just
do,
bomb
just
the
drop
freaking city.
pamphlets from the
Drop
sky.
flyers, say, hey, you got 72 hours to vacate, or else you're dead. So get out of town.
Oh, yeah.
Don't even get me started on Woodfin, that jack wagon, and that Lisa girl. She got out. That Mary Lisa, the 61-year-old liberal. I'd love to smack her right in the face with a fist, but
Well, Woodfin's
whatever.
another one, by the way. Woodfin's been on social media this
Oh yeah,
weekend fanning the flames of this. So he's
yeah.
he's just as guilty as anybody else that's been out there running their
Oh,
mouth.
he's just trying to be a big wig nig, and everything and all that, and just he's worse for Birmingham than anything else. I'll tell you what, Ivy needs to get out of office no sooner than later and stuff. So I'll be glad when Tuberville wins. I'm definitely voting for him. So, but who
Yeah.
knows, man? I don't even look at the news because every time I turn on, it's Minneapolis, Minneapolis, Minneapolis. I get my news from y'all, man.
That's the
So
way to do it, man.
I
That's the
don't.
way.
I even scroll past the headlines. I'm like, nope, 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 nope.
Just wait on us, Tom. We'll
But
give you
at
everything
least
you
it
need.
doesn't make at least it doesn't make me mad like it used to and stuff. I just shake my head and say, "What jack wagon?"
Yeah.
So,
Well, that's good. That's
all right, bro.
progress. That's progress, Tom.
Yeah, man, that's right.
All
Not
right.
push my weight. So, all right, bro.
All
Later.
right, see you. Look at Tom. Getting more mature in his old age. He's able to handle the news headlines unlike he used to. 205-545-9950. I'll give you some of the reaction from those elected officials and former elected officials that I was talking about a moment ago when we get back. Hang tight. Let me see if I can find what Randall Woodfin said, as a matter of fact, while I'm at it. I wonder where he posted. Maybe he did so on Twitter. He's just, listen, you got to understand about Randall Woodfin. Like, he's not looking out for Birmingham. But I don't care. I don't care what anybody says. Mayor Smooth, as they call him, is looking for the next gig. And he has been ever since he became mayor of Birmingham. You know what kind of mayor of Birmingham I would like? And I say this as someone who works in Birmingham but doesn't live in Birmingham. And I'm honestly, I'm grateful for that at times. I want a mayor of Birmingham who doesn't constantly comment on national issues that has nothing to do with Birmingham. Right? One that fully concentrates, that puts off this persona of, I am 100% committed to the city I was elected to. I'm not going to get into national politics. I'm not going to talk about this hot button issue and that hot button issue. I'm going to concentrate on the people of Birmingham, and not just the Democrats, not just the people that voted for me, but everybody. That's what I'm going to do. Randall Woodfin is the opposite of that. So his comments on this situation, let's see. Yesterday, he said, quote, "Today, federal agents killed another American. It's sickening, and it never should have happened. Not in Minneapolis, not in any American city. There must be full accountability for what happened today. This is not about politics. This is about human life." Again, this guy, and I fully expect, not that he would be successful at it, but I fully expect to see this guy give a shot at running for president one day. Again, I don't think he'd be successful. I don't think he's got the will. I don't think he's got the support to do it.
Doesn't have the record either.
Doesn't have the record for it, but that's obviously, it is painfully obvious that's what he wants to do. Others that were president had their comments, again, throwing fuel on the fire. Slick Willie being one of them, saying, "In recent weeks, we've watched horrible scenes play out in Minneapolis and other communities that I never thought would take place in America. People, including children, have been seized from their homes, workplaces, and the street by masked federal agents. Peaceful protesters and citizens exercising their constitutional right to observe and document law enforcement have been arrested, beaten, tear gassed, and most searingly, in the cases of Renee Good and Alex Preddy, shot and killed. All of this is unacceptable and should have been avoided." Oh, but it gets worse. I'll give you that when we get back on the other side. 545-9950. Hang tight.